Using bladed lures in Australia is nothing new. They've been around a very long time, but recently small bladed lures in particular have really taken off for estuary fishing. One way of learning more about something that you don't know about is to go fishing with somebody who knows more about it than you do. Today I'm here with Stewie Heinsohn from Aussie Fish Estuary Adventures. Stewie's a professional guide on the south coast of New South Wales, and he uses all range of techniques, but blades in particular are something that he's really taken off with. Stewie, one thing I want to ask you about blades is, what are they? What is a blade?
Mate, a blade is just a very thin piece of metal.
Yep.
And who would think that, estuary fish would actually eat them? We can chase, bream and flathead and whiting and occasionally blackfish as well, and estuary perch among the snags and so forth. So it's just a little bit of thin metal with two little trebles on it.
Yep.
It's a pretty simple technique. There's a few different techniques we're going to show today, and retrieval speeds. But yeah, mate, it's good fun.
Yeah, and I was interested to see that, because they're quite heavy, obviously made of metal with a lead chin, they're going to sink pretty quickly. I was surprised to hear that people use them in shallow water.
Yeah, no, it is. I quite like using them in shallow areas that are quite weedy with sand patches in them, and it's a little bit different what you're going to do with deeper water. But yeah, actually just slow rolling the actual lure across the top of the actual weed bed,
yeah,
letting it back down to the edge of the sand, and then just slow jigging it, going up and down. You're visually watching it pretty much, and then coming back over the top of the weed and fishing it like that. And quite often the actual fish will sit on the edge of the sand and weed, and yeah, they're very versatile, mate.
Well, we're talking about a slow roll. I know that's a particular retrieve that I've used with soft plastics before. How does a slow roll retrieve work with a blade?
Well, it's pretty much the same. Quite often you'll get your rod up at about 10 o'clock.
Yep.
So if I've just cast over there, I'll have that rod at 10 o'clock up here, and all I'm doing is just slow rolling it across the top. You'll see the vibration of the rod. I'll let it drop, get it back down to the bottom. A couple of little jigs, just like you fish a plastic.
Yeah.
Down again. See that patch of weeds coming up there? And just slow rolling across the top of that. Now quite often the lure can actually get hit when it's actually in the sand itself, but when you're slow rolling it, you get that clunk.
That's incredible. You would think something heavy and dense like that's just going to drag along the bottom, but obviously the way they're designed, they're going to impart an action even at a slow retrieve.
Yeah, that's right. Look, occasionally you're going to get fouled up with a little bit of weed like I have there,
yeah,
but that's just part and parcel. But there's not much point fishing the lure actually very high in the water column. You need to fish it quite low in the water column.
Yeah.
So really, if you're not actually getting that odd bit of weed on it, you're
yeah,
not fishing close enough to the bottom, mate.
Yeah,
so pretty important you get it down there.
Now I can see there's obviously going to be a lot of potential using these things for deep water applications, because they're so weighty they're going to be able to get down nice and quick, and you're going to be able to hold that lure even in a bit of current. You use them for deep water stuff as well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely with fish that are suspended off the bottom, even on the bottom. When you're fishing like rock walls that are quite vertical dropping, you've got to change the toe points a little bit on the lures itself. But that's just a little bit of fine tuning, mate. Yeah. Like pretty much any blade you get out of the packet, and the TTs is what we're using today, you can pretty much use them straight out of the box and you'll catch fish on them straight away.
Now I have heard that bladed lures, and a couple of other mates of mine who are guides who use the bladed lures with their clients, they reckon they give the clients a blade because they're simple to use and they work. Is that right? Is that
Oh look,
right?
they're pretty much foolproof, mate. You've only got to need to cast, mate, and you need to know how to lift the rod, mate.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. But staying in contact with your lure is fairly important as well, like any sort of estuary fishing. Quite often when you actually lift up, you'll have the weight of the fish, okay? Especially when you've dead stuck it on the bottom, which we'll talk about. But yeah, quite often when you actually lift up, you've just got like a little bit of weight, and you think it's stuck in the weed, but it's not, mate. It's a fish. So I've got a bit of a motto when I tell my clients, mate, is if in doubt, strike. So if you think it's a little bit of weed, most of the time it's a fish.
Now you're just talking about dead sticking. I was blown away when I heard that these things apparently work dead stick. Could you just explain what dead sticking is and the ways that you would use it?
It's a great terminology, isn't it, really? Yeah. But yeah, dead sticking is actually leaving your lure suspended on the bottom for an amount of time. And I've caught a lot of bream that you've been dead sticking for 20 seconds. But it happens a lot when the fish are really, really shut down. Okay, when the fish are, they're there and you can see them marking up. You might have a super low barometer, or the weather conditions are a bit adverse and that, and certainly works in that situation. I also like to apply, there's heaps of different types of scents out there. So if I am going to dead stick, I'll usually apply a little bit of scent, and that certainly helps the situation.
Stewie, you've convinced me that dead sticking works. What are some of the other retrieves that you would use with a blade?
Oh, mate, you fish them much like a plastic, mate. You like I was saying before, you really want the contact with your lure, but quite often I just like just that simple lift off the bottom, just to one little hop. And how fast you actually lift it off the bottom varies every day. Sometimes you want to be going quite slow with the vibration,
Yep.
and sometimes you want to be going quite quick, and that might seem a bit silly to some bream fishermen out there, but just a gentle lift and drop, just like a plastic, and yeah, moving that lure anywhere from a foot to about 3 feet, mate. But variation's the key. Every day is different, and don't get stuck in your ways that just one lift's going to do it. Vary it all the time, and you'll work out a bit of a pattern, and you'll
Yep.
catch a heap more fish, you know.
Stu, you were talking about the different toe points before, and I noticed this one's got 3 holes and the clip's actually in the middle one. What are the 3 toe points for?
Yeah, mate, I generally keep mine in the one that the TTs come with, in the middle hole.
Yep.
But you've got your front hole, which is more used for vertical jigging and really deep rock walls,
Yep.
and that sort of thing. And the main thing in there is that the head's obviously a little bit heavier and it's going down. But in shallow water, which I do more regularly, is actually change it to the back one when you're fishing in shallow water. It just gives it a better vibration when you're fishing at, you know, 3 to
Yep.
6 foot of water sort of. And generally, you know, you're getting really long casts, so you've got a different angle actually on the lure itself, so that gives you a better vibration. But for anyone that's just sort of starting out and using blades, you know, I'd just be sticking exactly what's in the packet.
Yep.
Bang go, just chuck that on there, and you should be in business.
That's pretty simple. And I noticed that these guys, and some of the other blades I've used, particularly the good quality ones, but they work at the slowest possible. Like, I'm just barely moving that rod tip and I can feel the vibration. Is that the difference between a quality blade like the TTs or some of the cheaper stuff?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like if you know, you've got to use quality stuff like in any sort of tackle, and I mean, this is what we're trying to catch the fish with, so you need something that's half decent. If you buy cheaper stuff, it tends to roll and you don't get that vibration.
Yep.
You get a bit of vibration sometimes and not at other times. So buying good quality gear and good quality lures like these TTs, mate, you're in a great chance of getting a lot more fish. I think the other thing too is that you need to have good quality tackle when you're using it. You know, light gel spun, fairly light leaders, you know, a high modular graphite rod, and you know, a pretty nice decent spinning reel, smooth spinning reel, and you'll catch a stack more fish if you're fishing the right sort of tackle with you know, with the good lures that we're using today.